He's been doing, I would say God has been doing wondrous things in this place, and people have been helped because of that, and I really thank God for that. It's not, I really don't want to say it's a great thing that my husband is doing or any of us are taking part in it. It is only God has been so merciful and so gracious. He's just showing His power in these areas, and we really praise God for that.
Catherine, can I ask you to follow up on this?
I'm not one of the batch.
Well, you're a spouse.
You are.
You're a spouse. You're a big part of the batch. You okay with it?
Give it a few minutes, maybe.
Okay. All right. We'll come back to you after the break.
What about
Grace, how about you?
I did it last night.
But not everybody was there. See? Want to take a couple
let's have
minutes?
Joyce. What about Joyce?
Joyce is, I had my 15 minutes of fame yesterday.
We'll wait for Joyce for Thursday. You okay with that, Grace?
Let's have
Just, I'm sorry,
Let's have
10
more.
minutes.
10
10 minutes, we have a break, a half-hour break. Anyone willing to take the next 10? No, Rachel needs more than that. All right, since people seem to want a little time to digest what we've heard so far, let's, you need, okay. All right, we'll probably go a little bit into the break.
April, just
Micah.
oh, okay. Chinese have very apt sayings for almost everything. There's a Chinese proverb that says, "Earth covers doctors' mistakes." Earth covers doctors' mistakes. Right now, I've been retired for 10 months now, and I spend a lot of time on reading stuff on the internet. I'm addicted to Wikipedia. And my daughter says it's just like him to be addicted because I think I've had ADD all my life. I didn't know it till I was near retirement.
But I was telling you all the time.
He wasn't
Every
listening.
time I see some interesting phrase, I click on the hyperlink and it leads to another article, and then I get lost in that article, and I come back to the first one. It's fun, reading about Second World War and man's inhumanity to men. The other thing was, I'm also addicted to Drudge Report. This is a guy who, for a Jew, it's unusual for him to be a right-winger, of which I'm a part. I consider myself slightly to the right of the middle. I believe in consequences to one's actions. And I don't believe that the circumstances determine what you are, what you're going to be. There is room for one's planning. People all the time blame everything on their parents, their circumstances, and I believe that's simply inexcusable. Meanwhile, when I was doing my general medicine rotating internship, I noticed it was the pits because all the patients that I was taking care of for chronic illness had chronic illnesses like diabetes, hypertension, renal failure, hepatic failure, stroke. There wasn't at least those days, there wasn't a whole lot you could do for any of them. And I couldn't find emotional satisfaction in caring for such people. Of course, they needed to be cared for, but I wasn't cut out for that. Then after watching a child come in dehydrated, acidotic, a child, a baby, come in dehydrated and acidotic, was given IV fluid. 12 hours later, he's as good as new. And he was able to go on. He said, that's what I want. So I chose pediatrics. Incidentally, when I went to the mission hospital, I was expected to do everything. If you're the junior most, you got to do what the boss tells you. And when they're out of town, you have to do every kind of surgery there is. And I did what I needed to do, and I got, with God's help, I was able to accomplish what needed to be done. But there was another Chinese proverb that came in very handy. It said, to be a surgeon, one must have the heart of a lion and the touch of a woman. I think I had the opposite. So one day I had a 9-year-old boy who had a hernia. It's unusual in a 9-year-old boy. Anyway, I operated on him. I opened up and pushed to send back in, and I was trying to define the neck of the sac. And I didn't realize, unlike in adults where the sac is very thick, here it's very gossamer thin. And I was trying to define the neck of the sac. The more I pulled, the more it tore. And I was going further and further into the peritoneal cavities, pouring sweat. Gossamer, the surgeon wasn't in town, but in the end I managed to close it. Another thing that comes to mind is there was this young person who was like 4 years junior to us. He shall remain nameless for now. He was from, Singapore. He kind of idolized me for whatever reason. So when I was surgical intern, rotating internship, I was doing in the minor OR. Hydroceal. And when I was halfway through, I needed, this guy was following, shadowing things, so he decided to assist in the surgery. So I watched him scrub and put on gloves and everything. Then he was assisting me. In between, I noticed I needed a more local anesthetic. And I said, sister, she wasn't to be found anywhere. So he took off his gloves and went and got local anesthetic. And I was grateful for that. I, took it out and injected someone. And shortly after that, all I see is he's back with me, assisting me again. So I said, where did you find gloves? Oh, I used the same gloves. So, sadly, that patient had a huge biohematoma. I saw him next week and I was miserable. Here, when I went to the US, I noticed that people in pediatrics, on the pediatric floor, nurses are pretty much the same all over the world. I don't mean to speak ill of all nurses. In the young infant's floor, you would find that just before the shift ends, the nurse would change the diaper. And so the new nurse coming in will not find a dirty diaper because she's going to complain. When my second daughter was like a few months old, we went on a trip and came back. She had gastroenteritis. I was chief resident at the time. I admitted her to the floor and started my week and then we lived not very far from the hospital, so my wife would walk over. At home, the baby was having a stool like every 10-15 minutes. So whenever she came to the hospital, she would hear the child having bowel movements every few minutes. So the nurses would report one stool per shift. because that's when they think that I was. Then I also noticed that, as you know, I'm a control freak. When I saw in the neonatal intensive care unit, everybody was on their toes. An order would be written or even given verbally, and seconds later it's carried out. I said, oh, that's what I want to do.
Mike?
That's what I want to do. So I began working in neonatal medicine. And I did my neonatal medicine fellowship in Mount Sinai Hospital in New York City. So one day, there was a baby that was, abortion unit used to be directly above the neonatal intensive care unit. I don't know why it is. I suppose 4 meters. One baby was born alive. They were trying to abort the baby. So when the baby was brought to the NICU, I took care of the baby. The next day I was meeting with this mother, white lady, glasses. Then I was meeting with the mother, with the social worker, nurses being present. In walks in a black lady, rather chubby, and then she says, hello, I'm the father of the baby, how's my baby doing? For me, that was a new experience. That's the father. Okay. My wife is a pediatrician. She's got 2 more years to go, and she wishes we hope to travel a little bit. My 3 daughters are all in the medical profession. First one practicing forensic psychiatry, second one pediatric cardiology, third one anesthesia. They're all married. First 2 have a child each, and the youngest doesn't know. She considers herself a child, so she's not playing for children. And she's fortunate because she's found a guy who practically worships her. He treats her like a princess. He's out before her and fixing up stuff. He's also a doctor, you know. He makes sure her coffee is ready when she gets out of bed. And she has a lunch ready. I am grateful to God for everything He's done for me. Every day I'm reminded of things that would have gone wrong. And only most of the time, everything went the way I would have wanted it. The few times it didn't go that way, I could look back over it many years later and say, maybe God knew what He was doing. It's better that it happened that way. As Philip said, through the writings of Ellen White, we have nothing to fear for the future except we forget how God has led us in the past.
Thanks, folks. That's been a fun morning. Let's take a little break. We have a 30-minute break, and we'll come back to hear more about the real us.
And the refreshments are courtesy of Ruby Akka.
All right, refreshments courtesy of Ruby Akka and little mementos from Australia courtesy of Kasturi. And Cyril has something.
Quick question. Anybody want Cipro here?
Yes,
Anybody has a statue?
yeah.
Not for me. Somebody amongst us needs it.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Sounds ready.
Oh, wait. Yeah, let's see.
Look at that.
Hey, that's Kasturi.
Who's next to you? Who's next to you? Oh, Mary Ippen. Oh, yes. And who's next to you?
Yeah.
That's
This is nice.
Oh, this is hostel bed.
African.
She's the one who died. She died 2 weeks ago. Gomati.
Is that Jayashree over there on the blue side?
Yeah.
Is that Jayashree in blue?
No, Rajkumar.
That's not Jay.
Alka and Ganesh.
Alka.
Let's see.
Oh, Keith. Yeah.
Yeah, Keith.
Yeah, Keith and T. Capsule. Plastic.
It's not our batch. This is not our batch, is it?
It is there.
No, this is Pondicherry trip.
Oh, Pondicherry.
It's a mix.
Pondicherry. Papaya.
Oh, there's.
Wait. Oh, Nina.
Ratna Degan.
Is it Philip Woman?
No. Thomas Marmon.
Who's this over here?
George Jacob.
This is stylish girls.
Where was this?
Throw ball or something.
Okay.
Gurbachan Singh.
Ajit Gurbachan Singh.
This is channel singer.
Shenaz. Oh, yes. Shenaz.
Same one.
Oh, right.
Yeah, Keith is there.
He was in our batch. No, our batch
Mix is
below.
there, Mix and Keith. John, right in the center.
Peter is there.
Oh.
Edward Ratna.
Elmo.
Edward Ratna. Sing Diana.
And then that's Rachel.
Surjit Raman died about 3 years ago.
That is Surjit Raman. Who's this?
Surjit Raman.
Who's this?
David Ralston.
Oh, David Ralston, of course.
Indra Bose.
Oh, wait.
That's Rachel.
Rajkumar married somebody in our class?
She passed away about 2 years ago.
Anjo, he married Anjo?
Yes.
Where was Anjo? Who's Anjo?
The last one.
That's okay.
Can you show the previous one again? I want to see
This
one.
one is
That is Anne.
That is Anjo, okay. How did she pass?
That's called French Castle.
She had
That's French Castle.
Palace, France.
Usha Luther.
yeah, the green, the one in green.
Okay, guys, we should stop. You'll come back to it though.
You want to talk about this?
We'll come back and look at all that.
Business with Joel. Everybody please take care of business with Joel. Also take care of business with Sam. Those who traveled on the train from Chennai to Jonathan, please things to say to the group. and then some things to say, especially to Joel, who has been just incredible for us. Kasturi.
Thank you. All of you sitting down at this time. I just want to say a quick thank you to Joel, who's been extremely available, very happy to do whatever we wanted him to do, and also very patient with us, trying to get us into our rooms and looking after every bit of our comfort. Joel, thank you very much. Thank you for a nice smiling face. Not often do we come across a young man who's so obliging and nice. We just have a small gift now, just for this part of the gathering we've had, and the amount of work you have put into. I mean, I know that there's a lot of rumblings about the passport, the copy of the passport, and all this kind of thing, and you have just sailed through it and come back and still smiled at us and said, oh, okay, that's fine, you cracked it, I'll still put up with it and I'll do what you want me to do. So thank you very much. This seems to want to share some of the glory. He says he comes from your hometown. Okay, so maybe we've certainly seen some kind of great patience from Bhaktan as well. And I think Susie definitely has said many times that if we hadn't had Bhaktan and you, we couldn't have come this far. So this is just a token for this part of our little thing. So please accept it from our group. This is just a CD and a book. Hope you will enjoy it.
Take a photo, please.
I'm not going to take too much. So it's a God-given opportunity for me to do my small part. And I was looking forward when I was told by Dr. Shah to help him out with this. I was filled with joy because I knew. Filled with joy? Yeah, filled with joy because I knew I'm going to meet mighty men of God who have served the Lord in a mighty way. And I had chosen to serve the Lord, and hearing your witness, one day I will stand and glorify the name of the Lord in my old age. Thank you. I'm sorry, old age is compared to me.
Older age.
So here I go. Not quite sure what I'm supposed to be talking about. I've completely forgotten what Meena said, but I think she knows me we were very good friends and we shared rooms for many years. I think, I was just thinking back and thought, the best day, whenever I look back on my life, I think the best years of my life have been when I was in the women's hostel. I loved the friends I had, they were crazy, and I like to be crazy with them. And that included Joyce, Meena. I loved, the great storytellers. Gulu is one of the best storytellers. And the highlight of one of the things in women's hostel that happened to us was, there was me and Usha Lutha particularly, I think. We were both searching for something that Gulu had lost. We were in a hurry to get to the college, and she said that she had lost her contact lenses. So we are looking for it high and low, and then finally she started crying, and it just dropped out of her. And I just looked at Gulu and said, "What?" So she said, "I've got it." And mind you, I don't think she really felt that, she said she felt it was fine that we had been looking for it for about 20 minutes or so. It was all part of the thing. So I think the hostel days, sorry?
I apologize for
we enjoyed looking for it because the look on her face when she actually found it dropping from her eyes is worth it, I think. I wish I had a camera at the time. All those great pictures, that would have made it one of the best. I think for me, going through the hostel, it was like, when I initially came to the hostel, I think I was feeling quite lonely because I was the youngest in my family, And there was a big difference between me and my brother, 12 and a half years old. And also, it was a bit intimidating because I had lots of relatives around and they kept an eye on me. They were spying. But in spite of all that, I think I had great fun and managed to keep some of the things that I did from them. They still don't know. And some of them have gone to the grave, so that's fine, that's all right. My coming to the medical college was a culmination of something that started very early in my life, and I think my dad deliberately had a lot to do with it. He used to give me lots of books about medical missionaries. So I think a lot of my reading was about medical missionaries, and I was quite attracted to it. I also had another mentor in my aunt. I'm sure if I mention her name, some of you would think that how can anybody like her be a mentor? There's lightning and Dr. Lightning. But I can tell you that she did have a soft side to her. And my older sister was named after her. I did not get her name. But she was very disappointed with my older sister because my older sister told her earlier on, no, I'm not doing medicine. So she kind of also kept telling me, brainwashing me, saying, you have to do medicine. To give credit to Vaiti for all the, easy person to get on with, she had, even in those days, she had a strong feeling that women should, grow up and do something for the country, do something really good and really this thing. So that was something that I got from my family. So I came to the college, and I think I was really blessed in the friends I had. The one good influence I had on me was from Baby Sam, and I think she was the person who was more balanced among us. And I knew some of my classmates before, like Rita. I knew I'd been to school with her part of the time. And I knew Meena through my sister, so it was nice coming in there. And then Madhu was there in the first year, and we had great fun. And I can only think of it as the best part of my life already. Then I passed, and I had to do my 2 years worth of bond, as we called it, and which I did in CMC. During that time, I met a man and I married him. And I must say that we had, a reasonably good life together, and we went to Australia to pursue his dreams, but I was happy there too. He had 2 lovely children, I still have them. They're grown up, they don't like to be called children, so I'll just say 2 adults, very independent, particularly my daughter. And they kind of, I've had ups and downs in my family life, which I won't go into because it's not really interesting for anybody else. But I'm now in a good place now because I think I have learned a lot even through that, walking through that difficult experience, because I have now gained a little bit more confidence in making decisions for myself, and if my decisions sort of bring about consequences which are not that fantastic, then I'm able to say, okay, this was my decision, so yes, fine, I can go ahead with it. If something happens, I have to just deal with it. So I think that's been the very positive side to that. My children really definitely keep me grounded. They keep telling me, even before coming here, my son said, he looked at the 2 big cases that I was bringing, and he said, do you think you've got a back problem and a neck problem? Do you think you can manage it? So I said, oh, I'm sure somebody will help me. He said, you should never take something with you, and I'm with you, sort of on that. And he said, you should never do it unless you can do it yourself. And then when I landed here, I was waiting at the belt, and then I was able to take the small one off. But then when the big one came through, when I tried to take it off, like I went with the, with the case going along it, and there were all these these people looking at me, not in the least bit interested in helping me. Finally, one guy took pity and he came and helped me out. So there you go. Never take too much more unless you can handle it. So that's the motto in the life, I presume. And then what else? And I must say something about Susie. Susie, the first time when I saw your email, Kondatam, that's when I wasn't planning to come because we were already making plans to come in December, my son and I, to see my sister who's getting older. But I saw this email from her, the Kondatam and all that, and somehow that grabbed me. And then I got hooked onto her email. Like if there wasn't an email from her, then I would think, oh, where is it? What's she doing? Kind of thing. So I became addicted to your email. But I also had, wonderful this thing of being woken up at 2 a.m. and say, hello, are you awake now? I said, yes, I am. And then I was sort of like laughing after that. And then one day my son saw me sort of smile, because I was just remembering all these crazy thread things going back and forth. And I'm smiling to myself all the time. And he said, Mom, are you all right? And I said, yes, I am. So then I was trying to tell him about all these things, like rushing, because we had lunch together on a Sunday. It was a Mother's Day, by the way. And I'm telling him all the stuff, and he's kind of looking, thinking, she's definitely gone around the bend, I think. And I could see from his thing. And he said, oh, it is like that. And he said, oh, and then he said, stop. I don't know any of these people. I'm glad that you're happy to this thing, and you go back and read your emails. So that was the reaction I got from that. But I hope the Kondatam emails don't stop. I know, Joyce, you don't like the thread, but I wish maybe we can have a thin thread going through. That would be lovely. For some of us, it is great, and I really look forward to it. And I definitely look forward to you waking me up at 2 a.m. I'm all right with that, because guess what? Life is full of lovely things like that. And really, guys, I'm so happy to see all of you. I'm not the crying type, but I did have a few tears every now and then. And what upset me really was, I was going to room with Ushalu, and I think I was really looking forward to seeing her. And then when I heard the thing, and I thought somehow it sort of brought it all back to me, that everything's finite, and relationships are so precious. So thank you for letting me come here and being a part of you, bonding with you guys, and thank you for all the little things I learned when I related to all of you in one way or the other. Well, I had to. Well, the thing is, you saw my picture there. So if you're fat in your college days, you will be thin in your old age, as Joel said. There's the secret.
So some people
Thank you, Kasturi. P.S. This I'm doing awfully with confidence because I had people and make sure that I was not I'm sorry? Oh my goodness. P.S. is in trouble. It's not turned on. Now it's on.
It's working.
Okay. Thank you. If anybody has B.F. Myers green big bib, please, sorry, blue. I'm getting older too, but the blue. Anybody has it, please surrender it. You can only use your own. Otherwise, yes. Otherwise, you will be in trouble with Susie. I can assure you.
Thank you, Meena. Thank you, class. I told Meena I'm not a orator, I'm not a storyteller, I'm not a preacher, I'm not a musician, I'm not an entertainer. I'm a simple, ordinary physician. Years ago, I joined this batch at CMC Vellore. I walked in as the captain of the Salvation Army. Salvation Army stands for preaching, conversions, and social changes. That was always in me, and we tried to practice that. As Abel mentioned, we got in a little trouble towards the end of our life there. Certain days I don't want to even remember in my life. We were a few people, juniors, seniors, all felt that certain things happening in the men's hospital is not right. And we had some support from the staff also, especially Dr. Walking, Dr. I forget her names. And there are a few other doctors, they helped us. And one day it really got really bad and worse. And we had to seek some help from outside. The time has come that we had to leave the men's hostel. So one of my friends, that came out and he went to Trivandrum because we didn't have any political help in Vellore. So he went with the state chief minister, and so he promised some help in the local area in different ways. And I went northwards. I had a friend in Delhi, and we had discussions. They said this all has to come through your institution. If something bad happens, then we will take care of. So we had some friends in the local police officers training college in Fort. So we had a few friends, about 20-25 people. They were willing to come and help us anytime. So those are the days, it's all gone. Then you graduated, had a happy time, and I went back to serve the Salvation Army in the Evangeline Booth Leprosy Hospital in Puttenrich, where we were for 4 years. During that time, I learned a lot more in the organizations and running the place, running a business. This was a 200-bed hospital. I'm the chief doctor, and also had some administrative responsibilities. And being in a leprosy hospital, I had an opportunity to visit so many social clubs, Lions Club, Rotary clubs, and Bison Club, and all these clubs in that area. I was also a lion at that time. So we went around and had a good relationship with the people in that area. I also had the opportunity to go to the Carville Hospital in Louisiana. That's the world's best leprosy hospital, where Paul Brand was there and Cochrane was there, all those people. So spent some time with them in Carville. Afterwards I came back and became a member of the Indian Kush Nivaran Sangh. So I was a member in the meeting. And these places we had to renovate and need some funds. So in the United States I visited and had some talks in the radio and the clubs and the churches, raised some funds and rebuilt the hospitals. After that 4 years I got a transfer. Then I thought that this time has come. I have to leave this and seek something else. For a short period of time I joined the Catholic hospitals and worked for them with the nuns in the Catholic Mission Hospital. After that, opportunities came to move to different places, either to Nigeria as a state leprosy officer for the state of Nigeria, or to some of the Middle East. And I also got an opportunity to move to the United States as an immigrant. So I opted to go to the United States. In '74, married my wife Remini, and then we had 2 children. We moved to the United States. Took my internal medicine, flexible internship in internal medicine, and it was a part-time boy. I think Mataraj knows that he lives close to that place. Afterwards, joined the veteran administrations, worked for them about 8 years, and went into private practice where I am now. So over 22 years in the same place. We have 4 children, 2 girls, we call Sarah, Anne, Linu, and Matthew. Linu got married 2 years ago with an attorney from Melbourne, and he is doing his family practice residency at Wayne State University. Being in London, I started a private practice, and it was a very nice place. Why I went into private practice, reason is, I always believe that the medicine is a way I can get the people in real need and try to help them in the various aspects of their life. A lot of my patients come to me, not just for the prescription, but to spend some time with a doctor, who is concerned about them and will be able to help them. Some people come just for routine visit, and then they ask, Doc, I have a question. They want an answer for some of their questions, some of their problems. That's all they want to know. They don't need a prescription. I give 3 months prescription, but they come for the monthly visit to have their problems, some answer. This may be spiritual, maybe social, maybe political. And being there, as I was, I'm involved in Christian churches. Different churches I go. I have membership in several churches, and at the churches, and also in the social activities, and also in the clubs, and a little bit in the politics too. So that's where that goes my daily life. It was very nice to come here and meet my group. We said that the 1964 batch is a different batch. We never had a batch diversified like this. We could never get together. We always we discussed the meeting or were apart, agreeing on one thing to disagree. That is the way we were. But yesterday when I came, I saw a different group. Oh, all were like love, everybody hugging and loving and cheering. I said, this what a change. The 50 years has made a lot of change in us. As he said that we are getting older, old men are really getting mellowed down, It's very nice, this love and the unity, which I enjoy. And I think that you all care for me. I never thought you cared for me this much when I was to me, like, when I was sitting here, I was thinking, the last day it will happen. The people from the west and the east and the north and the west, south, all will gather together to be in that big banquet, that big feast. The whole my life, I don't think 2 minutes, I passed 2 minutes. I don't think so. Okay, a little bit more. Though I was in the medicine, I was more interested to know the ultimate, the truth, because I graduated in physics and analytical chemistry, so I wanted to know where it is. So in regarding the religion, I have a big problem, especially the Christianity. Problem was, why this is so much diversified? Why the people finding fault with another Christian group and try to attract people to come this particular group? Why the Christ is so much splitted, divided? Is there some problem? Is the problem in the Bible, or the problem the people who are practicing it? Interpretation. So I wanted to go to find the truth. For 15 years I prayed, Lord, show me the truth. I want to know the truth. I don't want to follow faith. So first thing touched me was the name of Jesus. Is it truth or a manual name? Is it a pen name or a nickname? What is it? He never lived according to me in that time, because there is no name record saying Jesus. So that was a big issue for me. So research, finally I found his name. His name was Yeshua. So then I know that, people have changed, they have interpreted, edited the scripture. So I wanted to go back to the deeper things. Yes. And then I found some answers. With that, now I go forward, looking forward to get all these things united, because he said, I am the truth, the way, and the life. So we have to come back to the truth, and then we'll become one. There won't be any diversity. We'll enjoy the presence of His peace and life. God bless you all.
Thank you, Peter. ideas. Ramani, I don't want to be pushy. People tell me I'm being pushy. You don't want to say anything? If you want to add something at a later time, you're welcome to do that. Usha. Yeah, please keep the feedback coming. Not that I want to hear it, but I will.
Oh, hello, it's lovely to be here. I never wanted to be a doctor. I never wanted to be a doctor. 2 or 3 weeks before the applications were due, I suddenly told my dad I want to put in the application form. And finally, when I came for the interview, we were all at the railway station, Cantonment railway station. My mother said, "You're going for the interview, I hope you're successful." And there's Joyce. She was the noisiest girl in my class. She is with you and she will take care of you. And I've had some wonderful time in women's hostel, and even Kitty's Corner was fantastic for all of us. We were 7 in a room, Gulu, Rohini, Liza, and now we want a single, Susie. Then we expect a single room with an attached bathroom now. Then we had 1 bathroom. And we had Liza reading under the blanket with a torchlight after 10 o'clock. Great time. And we had 1 telephone by Miss Punnan's, outside Miss Punnan's room. Telephone conversation going backwards and forwards, men's hostel and women's hostel. Miss Punnan would quickly open the door and have a little listen and close the door. She's not listening. She's only doing this, yeah? With her chain, do you remember that? And then we were an integrated batch. Then we had our class prayers and the hose pipe session. I don't know if you remember that. Yeah, first year? Hose pipe session. After that we became a disintegrated class. Yeah. And then we are integrated again. And it's nice to be integrated. I'm enjoying listening to you, interacting with you. It's a wonderful time. I did some mischievous things when we were in women's hostel with some of my roommates. I don't want to mention names. One incident I remember is April Fool's Day. I don't know if anybody remembers that. I'm not looking at anybody. We tied firecrackers, shoes and empty cans in front of Dr. Fenn's house. He was living opposite the women's hostel. And at 12 o'clock midnight, and the patas went off, you know. And then he came out with a cigarette. We couldn't run back to the women's hostel. We ran up the hill. And he didn't go into his house. You could see the glow of the cigarette. He knew we were up there. And 12 o'clock, the watchman closed the gates. We couldn't go upstairs to sleep. So then we had to sleep in our room after Mr.
That's when you came to men's hostel.
There were many of us, not just me.
All of you.
I don't know if anybody remembers this. Anyway, after I finished medical school, Santosh and I got married. The 2 wonderful years we had working in Chennapatna and Hassan, they were very rewarding. Enjoyed my time there. And then of course we went to UK to do our fellowship. Wanting to come back to Chennapatna again, but of course CSI didn't want us. So we had to change direction, go take up course elsewhere. Santosh worked in Baptist Hospital, I worked in Martha's. My back has been a pain in the back all my life. Things because of that, I've had to change my life several times. One was in '89. I was bedridden for almost 3-4 months, housebound for a couple of 18 months or so. So when I got back into circulation, I couldn't actually do as much of anesthetics. So I went to active church life. I went to St. Mark's and started a community care group. I love old people. I started having birthday parties for the old senior citizens in the church. They had Christmas parties for them and included in all our activities. We had the usual thing, roadside clinics,
and tailoring classes, organizing loans for the... I couldn't walk again, so I had my third back surgery and I had to give up anesthesia. But I'm not sitting quietly, I'm keeping myself busy, non-medical things. I do help people if, unofficial consultations. And I'm involved with the voluntary work in the village where I live. I'm interested in wildlife, I'm interested in nature. I travel a lot to see exciting things. I've been to the Galapagos, to Borneo, to Madagascar to see the lemurs. I do all sorts of things. I'm very much interested in birds. I have a lovely garden with wildlife, hedgehogs, pheasants, chicks, ducks. It's not, I don't, they're not in cages, they just come and feed and go, and it's very nice. It's given me time to be reflective. I like to be non-judgmental, accept people as they are, be patient with them, and I'd like to think that I make a difference to the community where I live. I'm not a very good speaker, but I noticed that some of the people in the village, they wouldn't say they're ignorant, they don't know much about India. They think we all walk behind our husbands with our head covered, and they have the wrong notion about Indian women. So I do some demonstrations, like talk about India and then teach them how to put saris on, show them about our culture, talk to them, the brownies, the guides, or the Women's Institute here and there. I do a little bit of work like that. But I'm at peace, I'm happy, and I'm content. I have 2 boys and 4 granddaughters, and I enjoy my time with them. Thank you.
Thank you, Usha. You're showing us how to be at peace with ourselves and not have to agitate, which I have to work on learning. Boniface, colleagues, are you going to be ready next? I'm only asking colleagues that because he wanted a warning. He has to get some material from this room.
Thanks, Meena, and hello to all of you. Okay, I don't want to take too much time, but I'll just give a very brief, how can I say, forward to before I came to CMC. During my high school days, I never really planned on becoming a doctor, to be very honest. Because I used to see these people working, fixing things, all mechanical kind of things, people driving engines. So I wanted to be an engine driver, to be honest with you. I used to be fascinated with these trains. And then, as early as what? 14, 15 years? Oh, even earlier than that. In those days, we could get these toys. I think some of us know about this mechanosis, where you know how to, it's actually a teaching aid. It's a fun thing actually to make all sorts of toys and things. So that's what I really wanted to do. I never really thought of medicine, to be a physician. But again, later on, sort of cut on me, but I really couldn't. But then, as I came to my Form 4, or Senior Cambridge as it was called, because I went to school in East Africa. That's where I grew up, in Tanzania, to be specific. My dad said, why don't you learn to be a doctor? Why don't you train to be a doctor? It's nice to have a doctor in the family, to look after us when we are old. So then I said, yeah, Dad, but I don't really I don't think if I'm really cut out for that. So it so happened that in my final year of school, I had to take natural science, which is biology, English, and botany, and natural science, to be more specific. So that's the thing I took, and by God's grace, I passed my final year in second grade, not first grade. So that was it. So in those days, way back in 1962, there was not much scope for college education where we lived in Africa. So my dad said, either you go to India or go to UK. Problem with UK, a lot of money. needed. And my dad said, look, I've got 2 other boys to look after, to educate. So you being the eldest, I can't let you take all my money. So let's go to the cheaper option, so India. Right, so wrote, corresponded, and somehow my dad thought of Madras. He didn't want me to go to Bombay. Bombay is not a good place for youngsters. He said, no ways. No, Bombay is too fast. Okay, Madras is safer. So, I don't know what you had in mind anyway. So I said, fine, doesn't matter. I've no other choice. So I applied to Madras Christian College. So sent in the prospectus and the application. You won't believe it. They accepted me. I said, fine. So I landed up in Tamil. Oh man, you won't believe it. I was so homesick the first year. Absolutely homesick. Change of environment, such a hot place. And you got miles to walk before you can reach anywhere. You know, we were in Bishop Weber Hall. And that's the hall I was in. And it was like the kiddies corner, you girls in CMC. We were put in the PU house, which is a small hostel set apart from the main hostel. They didn't want us to be, how can I say, influenced by the seniors. So, can you believe the guys over there, they later on came to join us in CMC. Other painter, who was next door neighbor, Dalit Mukherjee, Santosh Benjamin, all the pew, we were in the same pew house, right? And then of course, in St. Thomas was Mike Reddy. Keith Diamond was there, but he was our senior. He was in BSc first year, if I'm not mistaken. He wasn't with us. Anyway, how can I say that? Then I said I was homesick, so I didn't want to do anything.
Corrupted our class.
Yeah. Yeah, possible. So anyway, didn't want to go anywhere to movies, man. Especially Dalit and Arthur will say, come on, buddy, let's go and watch a movie, let's go to the city. The problem is, in order to go to the city, you've got to walk about 1 kilometer to the railway station, then catch a ride, 45 minutes to get to the city. Watch a blooming movie, then finish the movie, walk back. Oh man, I said, no, it's too much trouble to watch a movie. I said, sat at home, sat in my room, brooding, thinking about home, missing all the nice things. So I think it was good because I stuck to my books and I managed to pass in first grade. Okay, that was a good thing. So, next thing was, what next? So my dad said, hey, you better apply for some professional courses. So, I didn't put this in my little information which I sent on email. I want to actually thank God and my parents for making it possible for me to get into a good professional institution like CMC. But thanks, I think it would have been almost impossible for me to get into Vellore had I not been sponsored by a mission hospital. Although I had a good grade in my PUC, which is grade 1, it doesn't matter, but still there's so many. So my heartfelt thanks goes to my mother's sister, my maternal aunt, who through influence got me sponsored by a Scottish bishop. I was never a member of that church, but she somehow managed to get me. Okay, but I really thank God for her and for the husband who is a doctor, Dr. McAdam, who was working incidentally in the mission hospital in Jalna. So, through their good influence, I was sponsored and I managed to get admission into CMC Vellore. Now, that's when the problem started. Yeah, I don't want to make it too serious, so let's have a little bit of fun at my expense. So, I joined first year, and to be very, I must tell you this is not a secret. I was never I never studied in a co-educational institution. It's always boys, boys, boys. And the very first time, into an institution with all girls around. Hey, man, girls. So, what do I do? Number one, I didn't have much money, okay, because my dad being working in Africa, there's lots of restrictions in sending money out. So very little money, just enough to pay my mess bills and my college fees. So I couldn't buy books. So textbooks were a problem. I had to depend on the libraries, and that's again a headache. So not much of reading. And then just because I could play the guitar, everybody wanted to get me for entertainment. Only come on, play this, and I was being roped in for this and that, all entertainment. And then of course the other thing about, which I mentioned earlier, so my attention started drifting away from my books, which cost me dearly, because I was chasing the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. Okay, it went on for a couple of years, it set me back a couple of years, and I did research, I must tell you that. Instead of spending 5 years, I spent 8 years, I think, if I'm not mistaken, to finish my course. Right. Thank God I got through, passed my BPS and then did my internship. I did 6 months of senior housemanship in pediatric surgery on the Dickey Mountain. And then of course I had to go and do my bond in Jala. Did that bond, and then my dad said, hey listen, why don't you come to Africa and work, because he still was in service. So I went back to Tanzania, did work there for 5 years in orthopedics, which I really enjoyed. I started getting interested in orthopedic work. Things got bad economically in that country, as you might have known. So I was thinking of going somewhere else. Mission hospital work was attractive, but then at that particular time there was not really much scope there for me in that country. So decided to move out, went to Swaziland, which is a small kingdom surrounded by South Africa. I worked in a Roman Catholic run mission hospital called Good Shepherd Hospital for 3 years. Gained tremendous experience working in the rural setup where you had to do everything just like a mission hospital in India. You do medicine, surgery, obs and gynae, pediatrics, the whole works. I must have done more than 500 cesarean sections. All sorts of things. And I was telling you one incident, which is a funny thing. You know, these people, they carry what's called a knob kiri. It's like a walking stick with a knob at the end. That's why it's called a knob kiri. It's actually a weapon of offense. And these are warlike, fighter people who all carry it and they sing a song when they go. Now, the problem is, when these guys get drunk, they use it to bash up other people's heads. So one day I got a chap, a patient who was actually struck on the head, and he came to the outpatient with a huge bleeding wound on the head, and he was conscious, but then when you opened the thing, you could see the brain stuff coming out. Actual brain was out with a break in the skull. What the heck do you are supposed to do? Well, you're alone there. Okay, there's another doctor who's just as qualified as I was. But you got to do something, so you become a neurosurgeon. Man, I'll tell you what, we took him to theatre before the preparations, the pre-op, shaved his hair and all. Did a thorough surgical debridement or surgical toilet as you call it, and found that broken fractured fragment, took it off, elevated the depressed fracture. Fortunately, not much of bleeding. Patched it up, and within, I think, 10 days he walked out of the hospital without any neural deficit. That was amazing. I thank God for that. Anyway, yeah. Sorry?
Redundancy in the brain?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I didn't get any feedback though. But anyway, it was an interesting experience. Then, of course, I went back. I applied for Tanzania. At the end of the 3 years, I don't know what else can I do, because it is a hell of a rural setup there. I said, no, we've got to go. Because by that time, I got married to my wife who's sitting there, Nirmala. She incidentally is from Kilpauk Medical College, Madras. Ours was an arranged marriage, and again, if you ask me how we met, how I met her, I'll just tell you very briefly. When I came to India, at the end of one contract in Tanzania, my dad said, listen, my time you got married, boy. But I said, hey, what's the hurry? I'm 32, I'm happy. No problem. No, you got to get married. So now we got to find a girl. So I came on leave for 3 months only. So how do you find somebody in 3 months and get married? So this is the railway station in Calicut. So my uncle who came to meet me happened to meet a friend of his, and man, old people start talking, and they said, you see, who did you come to meet? I've come to meet my nephew. And then they got to chatting, and then they said, what they came for, they came to look for a wife. Oh, no, I've got a niece who's in Madras, who's also recently qualified, okay, she's doing internship. She might be a good one. So that's how this, this connected happened. So then, we knew the people, of course, her family and relatives in Calicut, but they're settled in Chennai. So anyway, got communication, decided to go and see the girl. When we went to see the girl, man, this girl is sitting there, but she doesn't take notice of me at all. But you see, the thing is this, the joke is this, man, the whole family went to see her. My father, my mother, and my younger brother, Reggie, who's in the States. She is not looking at me, doesn't seem to be one bother. And I said, what the hell, what have I come here for? And then later on, my wife told me that she thought the brother was the guy who was come to see her. I thought, hey, this is not something I was not. Anyway, they say marriages are made in heaven. I don't know about it really, I'm not too sure. But anyway, here we are. Thank God that I met her, and she has really helped me from that time onwards. We've got two lovely girls, twins, Rebecca and Rachel. Now, Rebecca is the one who's communicating with Susie, and she's the one who's actually on the emails and doing emails on my behalf, because I am computer illiterate. Rachel is married to a very nice young chap and settled in Toronto, Canada. Rebecca unfortunately had a bad experience in her marriage, so she's living in the States with my brother. So, I was not able to attend some of these alumni get-togethers due to the fact that traveling from my part of the world was not easy because of problems, political problems or whatever, and also the money aspect, because you must have heard of Zimbabwe dollar going down so much, devaluing so much that the rate would change on a daily basis. Like today it would be 1:200, by the time the day is over it goes to 1:300. So you draw money from the bank to buy a loaf of bread. By the time you go to buy the bread in the shop, the price has changed. So that was the situation 6 years ago. Anyway, I did make it to the 2000 alumni centenary celebration in Vellore, where I had an opportunity to meet some of my colleagues like Keith and Susie and some others. But from that time, this is the next get together. I am so thankful to God for giving me this opportunity to meet with all of my dear friends and colleagues. And I tell you, it is such a wonderful experience. It's wonderful. Over the years we change physically, but I think internally we are the same. Yeah. So I'm so glad that most of us have done well in our respective fields, and I thank God for that. And I just hope that this association and camaraderie and the love and respect we have for each other will continue. God bless you all.
Can I ask any question?
No problem. Go ahead.
When did you start playing carom?
Oh yeah. Okay, so can I? So, okay, I forgot to tell you about what I enjoy. Okay, I left out. Okay, caroms is, as you know, in men's hostel we have the indoor games tournament. I'm sure most of us will remember that. So it is caroms, badminton, and what is it? Contract bridge, right? And something else.
Yes.
Right? Table tennis, yeah. So I got into caroms, and it was quite an interesting. I mean, I got used to that, and I started practicing it into the late hours of the night. People used to wonder, what's wrong with this fellow? So when the tournament came, I came second. Peter Das beat me in the final. Okay, I still remember that. I was so cross. Anyway, the other thing that I enjoy most now is playing tennis. You won't believe it. I play twice a week tennis. I play in competitive tennis as well. And snooker. I tell you, snooker is a lovely game. It's got the same principle as caroms, but it's a little more complicated, but it's lovely. So these are the things I like most. My wife will tell me and tell others that he plays tennis and snooker and then part-time doctoring. Thank you.